Good morning, everyone. Welcome to JSP's webinar for August start. Today we're just going to go through the differences between bump caps and industrial safety helmets, just give a good idea and help people know which sort of direction they want to head in and what the key differences are between both types. I'm Ryan Owen. I'm a business development executive here at JSP, covering the South West and Wales. But yeah, let's get started. So when it comes to understanding your head protection, it's key to know what is going to work best for you and what environment you're working in. The last thing you want is to be underprotected somewhere where you've got an incident that's possibly going to happen and cause some real injury. You don't want somebody wearing something like a bump cap when you've got the potential of a bolt falling off a 25th story and hitting you on the head. You want to make sure you're adequately protected for the situation. So start off and just look at what a bump cap is. So bump caps are lightweight baseball style sort of caps, normally with a polymer liner and a foam insert inside them, just really in sort of place to protect a wearer from themselves is what I would normally say. So if you're working in an environment that's a bit tightly spaced and there's not a chance of sort of debris falling or anything like that hitting you on the head, it's really protecting the wearer from themselves, from bashing their head onto a wall, onto a pipe, a piece of machinery, etc. So tested to EN 812 involves an impact test at low energy level of about 12.5 joules to the top of the helmet, all the way across the top, as you can see in the little diagram. There's also some penetration testing that goes onto these, but it's also along that point as it is. So bump caps don't offer protection against heavy impacts from falling objects. There are some really good pros to these. So really nice, lightweight, comfortable sort of things here, as it is really good for tight, awkward spaces. So working under railway carriages, server rooms, places like that, where lower risk, and it's going to really help out mechanics as well. And factory sort of work is really good. So the cons and issues with something like this is you don't want to be wearing this in a higher risk environment. You're not going to be allowed onto somewhere like a construction site with a bump cap because you don't have adequate protection. Do you mind just dropping the slide forward, please? So bump caps that we offer, this is one of the types that we offer here at JSP. This is a hard cap aerolite. So this really nice lightweight bump cap. You can see onto here, we've got perforated edges. You can just see that on there. So now a nice bit of ventilation. They're really nice lightweight bump caps that are machine washable. So you can also replace all the parts on these. So you can get the outer liners that can be replaced, but also taken off and machine washed. These are treated with polygene, which is put onto there to stop bacterial growth. It won't completely stop it, but it will help against bacterial growth, keep them a bit cleaner and a bit nicer for a bit longer. The inner HDPE shell, this is the actual piece that does that impact protection on here. Nice lightweight shell. Like I say, it's not going to protect you from something large falling and hitting the actual hard cap itself, but it's good for those bumps and knocks. You've then got a liner on the inside here, which is a nice padded foam, but an EPS liner inside there. That's as well for a bit of shock absorption. And then inside that for comfort, you have a comfort pad. Makes it really nice and comfy on the head, especially with that nice lightweight. So a few different options available. The standards are machine washable at 40 degrees, and then we've got the 60 degree, which is really good for working in food environments. So where you want to machine wash it to kill that bacteria off, really much better. 60 degree washing on the back. Right, all slides back up. Excellent. Cool. So now we've had a little look at bump caps. We're going to move on to industrial safety helmets, what the biggest differences will be. Right. So industrial safety helmets. This is the situation where you move on from protecting a wearer almost from themselves and from a static object within their environment to protecting them from hazards. That could be moving objects, falling objects, and something that's going to have quite a hard impact. So start with EN397. So these helmets are tested with a 5 kilogram mass from a meter to the crown of the helmet. That's going to hit at about 4950 joules of energy to the top of the helmet. And the idea is that the suspension harness within this will suspend the helmet on the head and absorb as much of that impact as possible. What that's going to do is bring down the force through the neck of the wearer to below 5 kilonewtons of force. They say that's the way we'll get away with it and not have life-affecting injuries. So, EN397's helmets as well can be fitted with chin straps. This is just an elasticated chin strap. This is just a simple 2-point chin strap, goes onto there, it's easy to pull off. Can also be fitted with a 4-point EN397 breakaway chin strap. It has to be the breakaway style, because part of the compliance on these is that if you were to get caught in a piece of machinery, that chin strap needs to break away, or if you're caught by a moving piece of machinery, etc. So, pros to these: great protection from falling objects, impacts, and your compliance. You actually will be able to get onto a construction site when working and wearing one of these, along with the rest of your PPE. Cons to it, I suppose some people will say a EN397 helmet is a bit cumbersome, but when you need that protection in place, it's going to be important. You like to drop the slides again, please? Well, so this is just an example of one of our EN397 helmets. This is an Evo light, so it's a bit bright on the screen just there. So lovely lightweight ABS shell helmet with the Revolution Flex harness on here. So the Revolution Flex harness is really nice, comfortable, adjustable helmet. Piece just here with so on the back there to sit beneath your occipital bone, and full nice adjustability on the ratchet. And then as you fit this, as it tightens as well, the Revolution Flex harness will actually slightly flex across the brow. Sweatbands on these completely replaceable as well. They come on originally as sonic welded. Once it's all dirty and disgusting, tear it out, replace it with another one. They fit direct onto little attachment points inside. Nice. Bro, slides back up, please. Excellent. So that's the EN397 helmets. That's your sort of standard industrial working helmets. We'd also say for working at sort of ground heights. So we'll move on to the next. Now, some enhanced protection. EN 12492. Technically, it's a mountaineering standard, but the idea with this is taking the protection of an EN397 and bumping it up. So an EN 12492 helmet will always include a chin strap and usually a foam liner within there. And what these are tested to is you take that 5 kilogram mass that you would have used for testing the EN397, and instead of dropping it from 1 meter, you'll drop it from 2 meters onto the crown of the helmet. So double the amount of double the joules of force that will be hitting the top of the helmet. And then, as well as that, this includes all-round protection. The idea with this, as well as if you're doing mountaineering or if you're working at height and you end up swinging, last thing you want is the helmet to be hit on the side and that cause problems inside, get pain, get hurt from that side. So these have got all-round protection on it. So these are also tested on the rear, the front, and the sides. So the chin straps that are fitted to an EN 12492 helmet are non-breakaway, technically. So they have to break out a much higher force. This is normally about 500 newtons of force. The idea behind this is if you are swinging from a rope, if you've been unfortunate enough to have a fall or something like that, or you are having a sustained fall, is this helmet needs to stay on your head to protect you. You don't want that chin strap breaking off and the helmet coming off your head. Brilliant. So I'm just going to show you at the moment. Do you mind dropping the slides? So this is an Evo Alta. This is actually a dual switch version, but we do a base working version, which is EN397 compliant, a sky working version, which is EN 12492 compliant, and a dual switch. So this helmet, mountaineering style, it's got a front panel here that could be replaced out, changed up to a badge holder. It's got the same Revolution Flex harness as in the Evo Light. That's a lovely, comfortable design to it. So, dual switch sat into EN 12492. So this is now going to take a much higher force. I'm really pulling that, and that's not coming apart. As soon as I put that into EN 397, so this has got that braking force that's got to be lower, just in case a piece of machinery comes past you or something catches you and you catch yourself on it whilst you're working at ground level. Give that a good tug, and that pops out. So good demonstration just there. Bro, bring the slides back up for us, please. Cool. So it's just a little graph on the bottom there, just shows you the differences on them of what they conform to. So as I say, the outer dual switch conforms to both EN397 and 12492, just at the difference the flick of a switch. The Skyworker is EN12492 only because the helmet is exactly the same. It's got the same impact protection all round. The difference is that chin strap, and the chin strap on that one will break out a huge amount of force. Keep it on your head. And the base worker is designed for working at your sort of ground level, and it has that breakaway chin strap that will come off if you were to get caught. Well, so just a little side-by-side comparison. So looking at the difference between your bump cap and your industrial safety helmet. So bump caps, EN812, really for protecting somebody against a static object. When you're working in a tight space and you're just trying to sort yourself out and keep yourself safe on there, stop yourself getting a little bit of a cut or a bruise on your head, etc. Great for that. Industrial safety helmet. When you're working on sites or working anywhere, heavy machinery, etc., this is going to protect you from a falling object, from bigger damage, from higher risk zones, really. The protection level on each one, as I just mentioned, and the sort of hazards. So comfort on these as well. So that is lovely and lightweight and comfortable. People can wear these for many, many hours, not have too many complaints. Okay, helmet is heavier. People will say they're a bit less comfortable. The thing is, these lovely wheel ratchets in here are very nice and comfortable. They have got good adjustability. They can be nice and comfy for people, especially with a nice lightweight Evo light. But bearing in mind, you do need that protection. So where it says about costs on there, occasionally you will find some of the helmets will be more expensive, but that does reflect in the greater level of protection that you are going to need. Yeah, so, and then your compliance, low risk environments, higher risk environments. Cool. So examples of sort of industries that you find each in. So your industrial safety helmets, you're going to be working at construction sites, utilities, gas and oil, shipping, demolitions, heavy haulage, anything where you can really think that the hazard is quite high and there's potential of big impact, penetration risk, crushing it, etc. Things along those sorts of lines. Whether you're thinking about a bump cap, you're looking at manufacturing. So aerolites do really well in manufacturing, especially like automotive and aerospace, food factories, bakeries, places like that. That's where that Aerolite 60 really works really nicely, because white, so they can know when it gets filthy and they can give it a good clean, and then 60-degree washing. Light maintenance, like mechanical work, warehousing, protect yourself from hitting your head on those racks, etc. Cool. So this is really when it comes to deciding which you really do need. So the risk assessments are really the employer's responsibility. So the employer is the one that's responsible for going and doing a risk assessment to decide which PPE is going to be correct for the wearer. So therefore, the environment. So that's looking at your environment to work out what risks are in place, working down your hierarchy of controls, because PPE is your last line of defense. If you've done risk assessments, you'll know that PPE is the last thing that you have on there as your defense. And you want to make sure that's correct. As well as that, you need to be able to train your staff and show them how to maintain it, use it, and look after it correctly. Brilliant. Nice and snappy. So a couple of key takeaways then. So bump caps, really nice, lightweight, comfortable caps. That low impact protection is the main thing to take from this. Low impact protection, but keeping yourself safe from those nasty cuts, bruises, etc. when you've got tight areas that you're working in and struggling with. Industrial safety helmets, robust, in there for your big impact protection, heavy machinery, heavy duty sort of situations where if you were to get struck by something, it's going to really hurt. But always remember as well, you've got to have the correct to select the appropriate head protection, because too little, it's not enough. So just a quick one just here as well. We've recently launched a Ask JSP on our website. It's an AI-supported platform which takes all the information from our website. So if you had a question, say, what is the difference between an EN397 and an EN12492 helmet? You could literally type that into it, press enter, and it will put together the information from our website to give you a good, clear description of what the differences are. Really helpful tool if you do have questions that you're a bit confused of and want that answering. feel free to try that. If you're not quite so sure on that, then give us all a call as well. Okay. So we've got another upcoming webinar on the 25th of September as well, which is all about APS and wells. So cutting through the about respiratory protection. You can scan the QR code to register onto that one, because that'll be really nice and interesting, that, and quite a few things to go through. Well, thank you very much for your time. I'll open up the floor if you have any questions at all. We'll stay on for a minute or two, just see if you have any questions, and if not, thank you for your time today.